Hi, I'm Nicole, vocalist of Stellaris, and you're watching CMS TV.
It is Chris Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And today on the show, we are going to be, I don't even know what we're going to call this. Usually I can come in and say definitively, this is metal, or this is thrash, or this is extreme, or black metal, or whatever. This is a little bit of everything you can possibly think of, as long as it says metal on it. The band is Phantom. They have a new album coming out on June the 26th called Not Midnight Yet. And here to talk all about it is the vocalist and the guitar player. It is JC Necrohex. JC, how are you, man?
Doing well, man. Thank you for the space and for inviting me here.
Absolutely. Well, JC, let's start with what I was just talking about. I'll let you define your band for people that don't know, because I don't know how to describe what you do. I mean, it's definitely metal. There's some thrashy stuff in it. There's some ethereal stuff in it here. And I mean, there's all kinds of stuff in this. What do you tell people when they ask you what it's about?
We just call it Phantom. But yeah, it's a combination of styles. We try and, if you want to generalize it into something, I guess you can say speed and thrash metal, but we try to add elements from both, old school heavy metal from like the new wave of British heavy metal or the first wave of Swedish heavy metal, early black metal or first wave black metal, and death thrash. Just a bit of everything, like you mentioned.
Right on. Is it difficult when you do mesh so many styles to find bands to play with and bands that fit to play with, so that you're not just blowing them up on the stage every night?
Not really. I wouldn't say so. We really mainly played thrash and speed metal shows.
Okay.
More than anything. But yeah.
Right on. Well, dude, let's dig into this thing. From what I read in the press notes, which is, take that for whatever it is, it could be bullshit, and if it is, just tell me. You were on record as saying that you are never fully satisfied with records, and at the same time, you're saying that No Midnight Yet is like a juggernaut record for the band, which kind of is like A and B. They're two different things. How do you justify that statement?
Well, I just think this is a very solid record. I'm usually not very satisfied with the result of my records, and I think that's normal for most artists. Sure. You're never satisfied with or fully satisfied with your work, and I think that makes you keep going and try and push forward. But yeah, I feel very confident with this record, and I think it's at least at the moment like one of the best works we've ever done. So yeah, sure.
And the funny thing is and yes, you're right. First of all, I've interviewed thousands of musicians. There's not a damn one of them that's ever said, this is it. This is as good as it's going to get from me. You all do your record, and then 3 months later you're playing it a little different, or maybe you're changing an inflection on your voice or something. It just it grows over time. Do you think that that's healthy, that songs stay organic and never have like a defined, this is how it has to be?
Yeah, that makes things interesting, and that makes things fun in music. So, yeah, I guess you could say that's organic, and that's a very healthy way to go on with music.
Right on. Well, JC, for people that don't know much about the band, can you kind of give people a story, the 30-second backstory? Because as I understand it, this is your third record that you've done. So tell us kind of when you started and how we got to where we are today with Not Midnight Yet.
Sure. Phantom started around June of 2021 when I was just entering high school. Okay. I was like 15 or 16 at the time. We were still in the pandemic, so I was just sketching up little drawings and logos and the whole idea before we actually turn into a proper band, which happened around early 2022 when we finally got a full lineup and we started writing right away and rehearsing and doing our first demos and stuff like that. Uh, we started with an aim for playing old school heavy metal,
Hmm.
whatever, speed thrash, heavy metal, black metal, death thrash, but all 80s, all 80s. Not for the sake of revival, like a lot of new bands say, but mostly because we wanted just to play what we like, you know. So and yeah, that's how Phantom started. And a few years later, well, here we are. We're
Right.
currently signed with High Roller Records, and we are releasing this third album, Not Midnight Yet.
Right on. Let me ask you about High Roller just for a minute. They're not necessarily known for music this heavy. A lot of their stuff is that kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say classic rock because it's not that. It's definitely like rock metal. It's like that Dirty Honey sort of thing,
Yeah.
and whatever that's called, that's what it is. How did you guys get their attention, and what made you think that they could help you the best to, promote the record and get it out there to people?
We got an email from them around 2024 when we had just released an EP named Transylvanian Nightmare, and they were based. It was very fast. They just mentioned like, yeah, we like your EP a lot. We would like to work with you. What could we do? And we started talking, and eventually a contract came up, and we were in. At the time, it was the best offer we had, and they have been treating us very well. So we appreciate all the help and exposure they have given us.
Right,
That's it.
right on. Is that what a label is for a band in 2026? Is an avenue for exposure? Because from what the way I understand it, it's certainly not about a big fat $1 million check or anything like that
Oh,
to sign
definitely
you.
not. Definitely not. But yeah, I mean, it's an extra help, you know. A band has to work for itself and be. Bands nowadays need to multitask, you know, and you need
Hmm.
to kind of be, especially when you're starting, you need to be. Or well, this is not only nowadays; it's for
Sure.
forever. But you need to work in your promotion and with shows and flyers and everything, of course. But a label is definitely an extra help, and High Roller Records has helped us reach uh, corners of the world we didn't even imagine before, especially with like our physical records and the distribution they have around, I don't know, Asia or Europe or stuff like that. Where for an independent band, it's definitely harder.
Right, definitely. Now, JC, you mentioned this earlier, and I'm doing the math in my head. You're what, about 22 now? 21, 22?
I'm 20 right now.
20. So you guys, is everybody that young?
No, the other guys, well, the other guitar player is like 23, the bass player is 25, and the drummer is 24.
You guys are a baby band still, man. Look, I'm 57. You guys are a baby band to me. With that said, though, how, like, as you move forward and as you're now working with a bigger label that's exposing you to more and more of the world and whatnot, how much of this do you feel right now is you learning versus you growing? You know what I mean? I mean, there's a part, obviously, your band is growing because of the exposure and whatnot. But how much of this do you think the learning part is more important so that you can continue to succeed past this record?
That's something very important you mentioned there, and I think it's a thing that it's both things go hand in hand. I think you
Hmm.
say it that way in English. I'm
Yes.
not
Hmm.
sure. Uh, but yeah, I mean, as you grow and you are living these experiences and stuff, you start learning stuff, and it's been. Damn, man. I mean, we've been going for 5 years now
Hmm.
almost, and every step has been a huge milestone for learning. from both how we started recording, and we didn't know anything about recording back in 2023. So
Sure.
whenever we hit the studio, it was something completely new to us. And nowadays we work better in the studio because of how we've been learning,
Sure.
touring, how to survive on the road, uh, live shows, and how you need to deliver to an audience, and how to project the same energy or even more energy than in the albums with a live crowd. Just a lot of stuff, and things in the business, like I mean, of course, it's kind of crappy. Sorry for that, to
That's
just
fine.
see things as business, but you need to also see that side of music, and you need to learn how to not fall into traps and how to stand for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Hey metalheads, tired of waiting for new episodes? Crave the real raw classic metal show? For just $4.99 a month, you can become a CMS VIP. You get every episode a full week early, completely uncensored, and 100% commercial free. It's the only place to interact directly with the show, plus you score the Fast Pass, so your song requests get bumped straight to the head of the line on every live version. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe right now at classicmetalshow.locals.com and become a CMS VIP today.
Yeah, because if you don't, somebody will take from you. That's for sure in this business.
Yep.
No doubt. Well, JC, let's dig into the record a little bit. Let's talk about the actual music itself. I always try to start with what is my favorite track. This is a super, super easy one for me. I love the song Curse Your Name. Great track, deeper in the record. Tell me about this song, as far as writing it and how it came together.
That's very curious that you say that. That's one of the songs it has a very interesting story. It started out like 15 years ago because
Okay.
my dad wrote the intro for that song, the acoustic guitar track
Yeah.
at the
Okay.
beginning. And I have heard my dad playing that since I was a little kid, and I wanted to, like, hey dad, you've never recorded this or done anything with like your own music. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna give this to you. And I finished writing the rest of the song. I was going through a weird period of my life with some personal problems with a relationship and stuff.
Sure.
So that track is different from just vampires and horror stories like the rest of the record.
Right.
And I don't know, it's definitely a very complex track. It has some of the most different stuff in the record, including the voice. I had never tried singing like that. So yeah, it was kind of an experiment, but I think it turned out well.
Yeah, it's interesting you brought that up because that was my next question was there a vocal guest? Because you do sound very different on that song than anything else on the record.
No, it was my first time trying that. I don't know, I was aiming for something similar to Artillery or Merciful Fate or something like that. Obviously with my touch in some way. And it's my raw attempt, man. I don't know if it's as talented and beautiful as some of those other voices out there, but it's my attempt, and I think heavy metal needs to be raw and honest and obnoxious in some ways, so fuck it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Dude, I gotta ask, as a 20-year-old, and you're mentioning bands that are more than double your age as influences, like Artillery as an example. How does a 20-year-old get into such heavy, not radio friendly, always been underground music?
It also runs in the family. My dad is also a metalhead. My uncles are metalheads. My grandpa from my mother's side was a huge record collector and a metalhead, so they got me into that kind of music. And I was always a very angry kid, so it's the combination for disaster, I guess.
Right on. Let me take it back to the record one more time. One other track that I wanted to ask you about, probably my second favorite. It's odd because both of my favorites on this record are the longer songs. I love The Pale Remains of Time. What can you tell me about that one?
That's another kind of experiment in the record.
Okay.
We were aiming for a more heavy metal or even power ballad kind of thing in that song. Not not because we were aiming to, oh, let's make something commercial or something mainstream, not at all, but because it's another very personal song, uh, and it just fitted the mood, like the
Hmm.
emotion in that song. So we wanted to make something a bit slower, uh, and it was influenced by, I don't know, older heavy metal and also things that do not have anything to do, or at least a little bit to do with metal at all, like Soda Stereo, a band from Argentina, Pescado Rabioso, another band from Argentina. Just, yeah, more from my side of the world. I'm Mexican,
Okay.
but yeah, I listen to a lot of like Latin rock and music too.
Right on. Is it difficult to not it's obviously it's not difficult to include those influences, but is it difficult to convince your bandmates to include those where they might not have the influence of, South American rock and metal?
Not really. We just kind of go with the flow. Also, this album was very different. It was kind of a solo album in some way. We
Okay.
we returned from a European tour, and it was almost like the holidays and stuff. And we already had a contract for the record, so we had to get into the studio. But the other guys uh, went over and just spent the holidays with their family, which is
Hmm.
totally acceptable. And also, I
Sure.
had some problems with the drummer after the tour. It's all solved now, but yeah, just band stuff,
Hmm.
things that happen. And it helped me out, like I mentioned, it's a very personal record in some ways, and that includes the way it was recorded. I managed all the instruments. I was there for the production. I supervised. Well, this is kind of something I always do because I'm always like the main songwriter and stuff. But yeah, this time I was completely on my own.
Okay. Do you like working like that, or do you want to, for the next one, get back to let's get everybody in a room and put it together that way?
I like to do a mixture of things, I like working this way because I already know what I want and I just do things faster.
Right.
But I also like when we were working as a band and they also sometimes give their input and add their touch to the music.
Sure.
And I think that it's something that happens live. This album may have been recorded as a solo thing, but live we're a full band and we need to work together and it's a completely different energy, man.
Right on. I'd imagine that the songs themselves take on a different feel just because, in the live setting, those guys have their own energy that comes into, the drum parts or the bass parts or,
Yeah,
what have you, right?
exactly.
Right on. Definitely. Well, since we're talking about the live, let's talk about that. You obviously have a brand new release that you want people to hear. It's 2026, which does not make it easy to tour anywhere. How much are you going to be able to get out there and show this record off to people in live setting?
We're on for a long ride.
Okay.
Actually, we take off to Europe tomorrow
Okay.
for a tour. We'll be playing around all summer. And it will be from like very underground places to some of our biggest shows. We're playing Wacken open air this year. We're playing Obscene Extreme, etc., etc. And after that, we're going back to the States and maybe Canada.
Okay.
So it will be a long run. We'll be touring with this record a lot, and it's just coming to a town near you. Hell yeah.
Right on. Definitely. Well, I got to ask you about Wacken, and I ask everybody. Have you played it before or no? This is your first time?
No, it's our
Okay.
first time. It's actually it caught us by surprise because we're one of the few Mexican bands that has been ever directly invited to the festival. Most bands go through this contest they do each year. We
Hmm.
received an invitation and we were like, "What?"
Right. Well, I have to ask this. And I know you've thought about it already because if you tell me you haven't, I'm going to call you a liar. You've thought about the 30 seconds right before you go on that stage when there's 150,000 people out there. Are you nervous? Do you think you'll be nervous or do you think you'll just, this is what we're doing?
It's both, but I'm absolutely nervous. I feel like that's gonna feel like whenever I first got into a stage, like my first show. It's gonna be the same kind of fear, but I'm at the same time super excited. I'm gonna do my absolute best. We're all gonna do our absolute best at Wacken. And in every show, both in every underground cave we found and we playing, and in the biggest festivals, we always try to deliver a punch to the face, man.
Right. Exactly. Well, and I'll tell you, I've interviewed the biggest bands in the world, and I've asked this question, and even like guys in like Judas Priest or whatever tell me that they're still that 30 seconds right before where they peek around the corner and they see just that sea of people, and it's that whole
we're gonna die.
Yeah, it's like I'm not going out there, man.
Hell yeah.
Too good, man. Well, dude, on this show we tell everybody if you're gonna stream it on Spotify, okay, give it a listen, give it a couple of listens, but buy something. Support the band by buying something, a shirt, a hat, a vinyl, whatever it is. Where is the best place that we can send people to buy something from Phantom?
At the moment, which is, well, just the time of the release of the record, I would say the High Roller Records page, because we're gonna be out of town, and if you place an order in our Bandcamp store, we're gonna take ages to deliver to you. So because we are very DIY, we have a very small team. We handle everything by ourselves mostly.
Okay.
So yeah, right now I would say the High Roller Records page.
Right on. Last question here real quick. Where would you rather people listen, on Spotify or on Bandcamp?
Bandcamp, because it's better for us artists. But if you have the chance, a vinyl.
Okay. Yeah,
physical formats are the best.
Mm-hmm. And you can sign those at the shows, right?
Yep.
There we go. Perfect. All right, man. Well, obviously this record is a great release. I'm not just saying that. I mean, I really have enjoyed this record. It's called Not Midnight Yet. June 26th is the date. Phantom is the band. Make sure you go check them out. All my European friends especially, get out there to Wacken and support these guys. And JC, this has been fun, man. Thanks for joining me here on Chris Akin Presents.
Thank you very much again, man. I appreciate the space.
Looking for your daily dose of classic metal? Follow the Classic Metal Show on X at x.com/cmsrocks. Get the latest classic metal news, honest opinions, exclusive clips, and full episodes of the Classic Metal Show. Want to interact with the show? This is the place to do it. X is the one mainstream social media platform we actively focus on, making it the best way to connect directly with us. Follow now at x.com/cmsrocks and join the conversation.